Hello and welcome to another edition of Rescue Me. I am Natalie Herbeck, thrilled to be with you today on our Fox 8 CLE Plus app to introduce you to 3 dogs who each have their own story and each have so much love to give. They've been waiting for you, possibly, including one dog that has been turned back to the shelter twice at no fault of his own. So we'll be meeting the dogs in just a minute. But first, I'm so happy to have Paulina Kosakowski here with me from the Cleveland Animal Protective League. You know it is a shelter that's near and dear to our hearts here at Fox 8 as we honor Dick Goddard every year with our APL telethon. Happy to be with you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
I know you guys are so hard at work day in and day out making sure that these animals have the best possible life there when you're with them. It takes a lot to keep that shelter up and running.
It does. It's about $12 million a year to keep up and running. Staff and volunteers are in, day out, making sure that the dogs are fed, cared for, healthy, happy, until they can find their forever home. So it's definitely a lot of work to keep everything running day in, day out.
And no federal funding. So that's why it's so important for us to be able to help in any way we can. I know because there's so many branches to what you do there at the APL. Yep. One being the humane investigations.
Yep. Yeah, they go out every day educating. I mean, they're giving people supplies if they need them when they're there educating. They're looking at the well-being of all of the animals that they're going out and seeing. They're really, I mean, they're hard at work.
And they don't stop, and I feel like they don't sleep. I'm telling you, the love and passion that every single person that I've ever met at the shelter there, that they give, it's unbelievable. And then also, most of the dogs that come in, the care they need, I believe as we've been talking about this through the APL telethon, it's over $700 for a typical animal. That's not including some of the other care it takes with medical issues.
Nope, and we won't even know. The animals come in if they have any medical needs when they come in. We kind of assess that as it happens. So, you know, somebody could bring in an animal that they couldn't provide the care for, whether that be because they got a broken leg, things like that. And we don't know the cost of that until we start doing those diagnostics. So, I mean, Humane Investigations is busy. Our clinic team is busy day in, day out, making sure that they're assessing each patient or, you know, animal in our care to make sure that they have what they need and creating those plans for those animals as quickly as they can.
The last time I was there, I believe they went through almost 100 medical procedures in one day.
Yep. That's spay-neuter surgeries, anything specialty, x-rays, dentals. I mean, you name it, they can probably do it within the day. And that's on top of seeing community pets as well. So they're seeing patients from the public, making sure that the animals can also stay in their homes. So they're not only juggling just the shelter animals, but they're also looking at our community and seeing what ways they can help them as well.
Well, that's what we want. We want to do our best to keep these animals in their homes. So the fact that you again go above and beyond to try to make that happen is amazing. But when that can't happen, and you bring them in, one of the great programs that you now have is getting dogs out for the day.
Yeah, so our Dogs Day Out program launched last year. Right now we're operating weekends only, but we do have the ability to send people who are even just traveling in and out of town for work purposes, for like travel meetings, things like that, can take a dog out of the shelter for the day to get them seen. So they're our biggest advocates in helping making sure our dogs can get adopted quickly. And I mean, there are also people who have taken those dogs out for field trips that have fallen in love and come back to adopt the next day.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Now, how is that different than volunteering? Do they still have to go through the process that a volunteer would to learn how to take the dog out for a day, or how does that work?
They don't. So they do sign up online. We do require some sort of an ID just to make sure that we can get you into the system appropriately. But we kind of go over what you can and can't do with the animal when you take them out. And we do kind of go through a process of making sure that the animal that we're sending out with those people is a dog that they would be able to handle. But I mean, you really come in, it's a 15-minute spiel of this is what you can and can't do, and have fun for the rest of the day.
I love this idea. And then on top of that, though, I know you are always looking for volunteers to help other items to be donated as well.
Yeah, we do have a wish list that you can access either online through clevelandapl.org, or even if you follow us on social media platforms, it links directly to all of the needs that we have. But we're never not looking for volunteers. We need help from the community to make sure that our animals are well cared for. Our staff does a really good job at making sure that everybody is happy, healthy. But our volunteers are really where that comes into action. I mean, some of them are advocating for the animals even just on the adoption floor to try to help get them into a home faster.
It's so amazing. And I'm telling you, I know you're always working on events that you do to help raise money. We do our APL telethon I've been talking about, but you also have an event coming up
Furball.
in November.
So Furball is more of a gala, but they do auction off a bunch of different really cool items from what I've been getting sneak peeks at. And there are tickets available, I believe, through our website that you can access and purchase to be able to attend.
It's amazing. Again, that is just one of the many ways that you can step up, help this wonderful shelter. And again, to see these dogs and cats in those environments, the way that you keep their spirits up is something so beautiful. But we want to get them into homes. So I don't know about you, but I think that we should introduce everyone to some of these animals. First up, we have Weasel. Yes. He's not a weasel at all. He's so sweet.
He's a
Look
love
at
bug.
he loves the loves. He just walked in here, my first time meeting him, and he came and he just nuzzled right in my lap. Yeah, so he clearly is a lover of humans.
Yeah, he is, and he's actually one of our very active Dogs Day Out participants. So a lot of people have met him. A lot of people have had him out in Cleveland. And we have had interest, no one's pulling the trigger.
And you find that hard to believe because when he first came in, you fell in love with him.
I did. He was actually one of the ones, he came in with a friend. So he was an owner surrender, but it sounded like they were spending a lot of their time in conditions that weren't appropriate. So the owner thought they were doing the right thing, ended up deciding to just surrender them altogether. But he very quickly started to pull at heartstrings of staff and volunteers as he started meeting them. And like I said, he's a very avid participant of our Dogs Day Out program. He's middle-aged, he has manners.
You're middle-aged. I will say, for being middle-aged, his teeth are really white and clean.
Yeah, he's roughly 5.5, almost 6 years old.
Okay. So he came in with another dog. Is he still? Oh, I love it. Thank you. Is he still really good with other dogs too at the shelter?
He has shown some interest, but he can be a little bit picky about his friends. So we always recommend somebody bringing their dog in to make sure that they get along before we send them home together. That's just to make sure everyone jives. He's shown some positive interest. He hasn't found a best friend yet.
Well, he has a beautiful coat. He looks like a little tiger, doesn't he?
Does.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You mentioned the Dogs Day Out, though, too. This is a great way for someone like him. It's a good way for you to test out if he would maybe work for you, but then get him out of the shelter and get him seen by more people as well.
Yeah, and a lot of the participants actually get to submit the photos and the videos that they take while the dogs are out. So getting photos of him sleeping on people's couches, when they're out at the park, even just in the car taking a nap on the way back to the shelter, all of that stuff they send to us so that we can make those posts. So he's also been shared on our social media a couple of times.
He thinks he's a lap dog, clearly. I mean, he thinks he weighs 12 pounds. Look, he's
does.
Gonna do it again. He's just gonna sit. You gonna sit right down on the lap again? But he just has this personality. But how long roughly has he been with you guys
So
now?
he was one that was adopted and returned to no fault of his own. He was also a dog that was treated for heartworm. So that's roughly like a 3-month treatment, and he doesn't have to do that entire treatment through the shelter. I believe he was adopted while he was being treated. The family just decided that he wasn't for them, ended up bringing him back. In total, I would say that he's approaching 4 months in our care on and off, which is obviously not ideal to see, especially for any dog, but he is one that we're still very surprised to see every day when we come in.
Well, I see why. I mean, he just, again, feels like he's the lap dog, but he weighs, how much does he weigh? About 45 pounds or so?
Roughly, yep.
So yes, you think you're 12. I'm telling you. Well, come over here a second. I want everybody to see you one more time. He's so sweet and lovable. So if someone is thinking about maybe adopting him and they have another dog, though, we'll do a little meet and greet session right there at the shelter.
Yeah, we always recommend it just to make sure everyone's jiving.
Well, you're going to jive well with someone. I just know it. Thank you, Weasel, for coming in today. Oh my gosh, that face. I can't get over it. All right, next up we have Raymond. Raymond is
Raymond's
so happy.
very excited to be here.
He is so happy to be here. Just walked in again. Such a sweet disposition. So happy to see everyone as he came into the studio. He was sitting with Aisha throughout our APL telethon.
Yes, he was.
So he's been in there at least since the telethon, which was over a month ago.
And he actually had come to us shortly before that too. So he's been in our care roughly, I would say almost 2 months, 2.5 months now. And
he responds well to treats.
He does. He came in through our humane investigations team with
there?
2 other dogs. They were tethered outside, so obviously unideal conditions. We don't know if him and the 2 other dogs that he came in with had regular access to one another. So while he has been a playgroup rock star, is another one that we would probably recommend just making sure, because he can be very, as you see, rambunctious.
But he's happy rambunctious. Look at him. It makes me so happy. He just wants to play. They just want to be puppies, and they deserve to have a family that allows them to just be a dog, right? And I love when you bring dogs in here like this and they still have that shine in them. They still have that happiness. It's not left. And I think that's so important that we keep that in them, and then that's why we got to get them out quickly so that they continue to have that.
Yep, and he's another one that, I mean, all three of the dogs that you guys are going to see are going to be dogs that are regulars for our Dogs Day Out field trip program, but they're also dogs that our volunteers are absolutely obsessed with. So
they pick to take these dogs out with them.
And what's also really nice is that we advertise, we have little ribbons that we put on the dogs' kennels to mark whose favorites are whose. So not only do our staff get to pick favorites, but our volunteers also get to address some of the favorites that they have to help advocate for them when people are walking through, because some of that really helps catch people's eye. So he's one that is also one that the volunteers regularly look at, regularly take out, especially for longer walks where they can hang out with them.
So you mentioned he was part of the Second Chance program. Can you talk, for those who don't know what the Second Chance program is, could you just give us a little background on that too?
It falls more in line with our clinic team. Our Second Chance program is for anybody who has any medical needs that just deserves that second chance.
Yes.
It's actually named for what we do with the program.
It normally requires a lot more money for those dogs, right?
It does. So we have to fundraise a little more heavily for the animals that are highlighted or spotlighted under that program, which is where you guys come in, because obviously we put those asks out to the community to try to get that funding to be able to give them their best next shot at finding a home.
Well, we're gonna get you. He needs a home with people who are active and like to play, right?
Yes, he would love that.
But he also seems like once he's tuckered out for the day, that he would be a great cuddler.
Yes, he was. I actually had him out when he first came in, and even on the telethon when he was sitting in Aisha's lap, he looked like he was ready to take a nap. So he is one that has kind of two different speeds, and when he's at either speed, he's lovable. So
I love that. So you can find him right now on your website, but that's also where you can find. There are so many. We're bringing 3 today, but there are so many other dogs there that need this home and need the same experience. So maybe you look for Raymond, but then you find another dog is perfect for you. I think they'll be fine with that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We just got to get them into forever homes. Well, we've saved this little angel for last. This is Bill. I love the name Bill, by the way. This is great.
I actually called him Billiam for long because I think it makes him look a little sillier. But yeah, Bill
what
was
kind of
actually.
dog is he?
I think we have him labeled as a corgi mix. Okay. Obviously, we take our best guess when animals come into the shelter, so we don't always know what they are. But he is a sillier looking fella that's the perfect size for anybody who's looking for something that's also a little older.
Now my heart hurts from how old do we think he is about?
We have him aged at 8.5.
8.5. My heart hurts because I know he was brought back to you twice.
He was.
How initially did he come in first to the shelter? Do you know that?
So he was surrendered by his owners. They were working pretty heavily with our community pet clinic to try to address a double ear infection that he had when he had started treatment through our program. Obviously, funding started to get to be something that wasn't in the cards for them, and they decided that it was in his best interest to then surrender him into our care. So he was also one that needed a little more TLC with our behavior team and getting comfortable with some of the people that he met along the way, but has graduated into our Dogs Day Out program and is another one that is a volunteer favorite. So he, gets out as much as he can. We try to highlight him as much as we can because he is also a senior, and those are a little bit harder to place in homes sometimes.
But they are equally as deserving of the rest of their lives to be able to just live in a great environment. How are his ears now?
So obviously we make sure that we do regular rechecks. Right now they're looking pretty good.
That's good.
Our clinic team keeps an eye on, as he says, he just starts scratching his face.
And I thank you for all the work that you guys do day in and day out. It is our pleasure. Just contact them there at the Cleveland APL. And I'll see you for the next big telethon coming up again in honor of Dick Goddard. Bill, we're going to get you in that home. We are. Good boy. You did great. And we'll see you on the next Rescue Me.